My research in the framework of AXA Research Fund tried to answer to the question, do you know what you breathe in the subway system? The question is not trivial because subway transports more than 100 million people worldwide every day. This is just an ordinary day in Tokyo. But the levels of air pollution in worldwide, in the few studies published so far, are well above the safe threshold established by the WHO, the World Health Organization. So this graph explains you the concentration of airborne particle mass. So what are we talking about when we talk about particles? What are these particles? If we compare the diameter of the particles I study, they are much smaller than the typical fine beach sand or the human hair. They can be even 1,000 times smaller than the diameter of the hair. And why are they? Why these particles are in the subway atmosphere? Because here we are under a train of the subway, and we see the wheels, the brakes, and all this erosion, mechanical erosion of the wheels and the brakes generate continuously airborne particles that we breathe, and they are able to penetrate down to the alveolar system and provoke cardiovascular and respiratory disease. So what can be done to improve our condition, current condition, which, as you saw, is quite dangerous? First of all, we have to identify the sources and estimate how much each source is contributing to the pollution of the air. And then we have to propose action in order to reduce the risk. Some example can be the modification of the braking systems and the materials, but also we can improve the ventilation of the platform and the maintenance, but also the design of the platform can be designed in order to reduce exposure of commuting people to this high level of particles. The methodology I'm following the research project funded by AXA, is a continuous air pollution monitoring in Barcelona subway system. So I'm measuring levels of particulate matter in the atmosphere, in the platforms, inside the trains, and in the tunnels. And just to give you an idea of what the magnitude of the benefit that we can obtain with the new technology and the research in this field, probably most of you are familiar with the new kind of platform, which are divided by the rack, from the tunnel by the screening doors. This is a conventional, ordinary platform, but these are the new ones. And we can evaluate which is the quality of the air in these two different environments. So these are preliminary results, but I want to show you just to have an idea of what can be achieved. So the blue line, the red line, sorry, is the condition here without any separation from the platform, between the platform and the tunnel. But look at this is the time of the day from 0 to 23, and these are the concentration of particles in air. So we can achieve a 50% efficiency in the infiltration. So only 50% of the particles which are present in the tunnel penetrate where people are exposed to. So just to give you a message to bring home, I'd like to remember you that subway system is a very efficient transportation, but there is an important health concern about the quality of the air that we are breathing inside. And the research is definitely will help in reducing our health risk. Thank you.
What are the typical health risks that these particles pose to us?
The health risks are basically cardiovascular, mostly for the ultrafine particles, the nanometer particles. 1 nanometer is about 1 million times lower than a millimeter. And also respiratory problems, because let's say the coarser particles, the micrometer particles, can deposit on the lungs, and this causes very important respiratory disease and also premature deaths, unfortunately.
besides screen doors, what other solutions are possible to reduce pollution in the underground?
The ventilation is the first one, I would say, because coming here to Paris, I saw that even the trains have open windows when they are traveling inside the tunnels. This is the worst the managers can do. So this is the first advice I would give. But the ventilation of new air to the platform from the outdoor is very important. Then also the brake system, the materials used for the brake linings is very important. There are materials less toxic than others used for the friction between the disc and the pads, and the brake pads. But the research is exactly focused on evaluate which measure we can take, which action we can take.
So you said the marathon wasn't a good idea. Did any researcher jump in the debate to convince people that perhaps it shouldn't be done?
The news just was released before yesterday, so probably there's no time yet. There was not time enough to react from the research point of view, but for sure there will be. At least we will do it from my research group if nobody does. But it's a good point, yes.